Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Coming up in the next hour. Thailand declares curfew in coastal Trat province amid Cambodia border fighting. Shooting at Brown University in US during exams, 2 dead, 9 injured. Hunt for suspects still on. President Trump calls it a terrible thing. Israel forces eliminate Hamas leader and one of the architects of the October 7th massacre. And in cricket, India to face South Africa in 5-match T20I series, finally poised as crucial third match looms in Dharamshala. A mass shooting took place at Brown University, the prestigious Ivy League school in Rhode Island in United States, where 2 people were killed and 8 were critically wounded. Mayor Brett Smiley said police were still searching for the shooter who struck at Brown's Barus and Hawley Engineering building, where exams were taking place at the time. Brown is on College Hill in Providence, Rhode Island's state capital. The university has hundreds of buildings, including lecture halls, laboratories and dormitories. The Federal Bureau of Investigation and other US federal officials were on the scene. While US President Donald Trump has been briefed on the situation at Brown University, he called for prayers for the victims and said the incident as terrible.
I've been fully briefed on the Brown University situation, what a terrible thing it is. And all we can do right now is pray for the victims and for those that were very badly hurt, it looks like. And we'll inform you later as to what's happening, but it's a shame. It's a shame. Just pray.
Authorities moved students locked down on campus following a deadly shooting at Brown University to a reunification center set up at the university's sports facilities late on Saturday. The Brown campus remained in lockdown hours after the incident, killing 2 people and injuring 9. Streets around the campus were packed with emergency vehicles and security was heightened around the city as law enforcement agencies sought the gunman, who has not yet been identified. And DD India's Akshay Dongre joins us on this story. Hi Akshay, a very good afternoon to you. This is a horrific incident indeed. What more can you tell us about this incident where 2 people were killed and 9 wounded? Any information on who's behind this attack, Akshay?
Well, the manhunt is still on, Siddharth, because even right now the authorities have neither revealed the information about the people who have died in this horrific attack. And also on who was behind it and what was the motive. However, the bigger problem here is the number of mass shootings that have been on the rise consistently across the country. Siddharth, as far as the latest incident is concerned, we have confirmation that 2 students have died, 9 are injured. And they are being they have been moved to critical care. They have been moved to be provided with the best of the medical attention that they can be given. But a horrific accident once again, incident indeed. Once again, people are left wondering that what is the solution of this relentless, mindless violence that has been going on in the US. And that has been on the rise, especially in the last 3 to 4 decades. As far as the schools are concerned, universities are concerned, areas that are the most vulnerable to these kind of horrific attacks are perhaps one of the very areas where the shooters are targeting the most innocent people of the country the most. Back to you.
Definitely. Akshay, what all are the authorities concerned doing to nab the person behind this?
Well, a manhunt has been launched as far as the surrounding areas the state police as well as the federal agencies are working around, in coordination to nab the accused. Because while the students have been escorted out of the area, there still remains a threat of the attacker, targeting some other area, some other place. So it's unless the attacker is nabbed, there will not be any sort of guarantee that there will be a solution, to this problem at this present. But this is, as we see, a minor, minor sort of a solution to the larger problem. Because as far as mass shootings are concerned, Siddharth, there have been 388 mass shootings just this year, in which 325 people have been killed. Over 1,750 people have been injured across the US. Now we are talking about a larger issue. We're talking about a larger problem that remains, that remains there in the country, however, unanswered for so many presidencies that have come and talked about the solution for this, but no concrete solution, especially given the fact that because of the Second Amendment, people in the US can, purchase and keep arms, not just small arms, but also assault rifles and big arms as well. There have been certain attempts to control it, but then again, the present dispensation, especially the Republican Party, has been vehemently against any sort of alteration to the Second Amendment and the right to procure and keep arms that is given to the people of the United States. So you can imagine a country of over 300 million people, everyone having rights to have arms, and you can have these kind of incidents in a society like this where people are freely keeping weapons. However, how to provide a solution and safety to the most innocent and most vulnerable, that remains the biggest question that has also been a festering political issue across the United States.
You're right, Akshay. But Akshay, as far as gun violence and mass shootings are concerned, they have become a major cause of concern in the United States. How is Trump administration taking up this issue?
Well, the Trump administration, obviously, initially when there was a debate about it, about arms, we saw Obama administration was the last administration that was taking some strong action and that had some strong views about it. But since the first administration of Donald Trump and now the second one, we are seeing that this issue largely has been ignored as far as gun violence is concerned, about any sort of solution, because there is none. You either can restrict people from keeping arms or you don't. There is no in between here, and any kind of restriction is seen as infringement of people's right to keep arms, to bear arms. So that is a rock and hard place situation for the Trump administration, because from the very beginning they have been against any kind of infringement to the Second Amendment, and that is what the problem lies as far as the present discourse is concerned.
Definitely, Akshay, this is developing. We'll keep taking updates from you on this, but as of now we leave it there. Thank you so much. US President Donald Trump condemned an attack that killed 2 US Army soldiers and a civilian interpreter when a suspected Islamic State attacker targeted a convoy of American and Syrian forces. The attacker was a member of the Syrian security forces. 3 US soldiers were also wounded in the attack.
So we mourn the loss of 3 great patriots in Syria. You know how it happened. It was an ambush, terrible. We also have 3 wounded. They seem to be doing pretty well. But we mourn the loss. These are 3 great people. And it's just a terrible thing. Syria, by the way, was fighting along with us. The new president of Syria is, as they told me, and I'm not surprised, he's devastated by what happened. This was an ISIS attack on us and Syria.
Initial assessments indicated that Islamic State probably carried out the attack, although the militant group did not immediately claim responsibility. US envoy Steve Witkoff and President Donald Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner are expected to meet Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and European leaders in Berlin during the weekend. The officials said that Witkoff will also meet with his counterparts from France, Britain and Germany on Sunday and Monday. On Thursday, the White House said Trump would only send an official to the meeting if he felt there was enough progress to be made in peace talks. The meeting comes just days after Zelensky said he will offer a revised peace proposal after disagreeing with several points in President Trump's initial plan. Zelensky said on Saturday he would meet US and European representatives to discuss fundamentals of peace. He said Ukraine needed a dignified peace and a guarantee that Russia would not attack again. Speaking in an evening address, Zelensky also spoke about Russian strikes. He said striking such ships is a direct challenge by Russia to the entire world. Russia attacked 2 Ukrainian ports on Friday, damaging 3 Turkish-owned vessels, including a ship carrying food supplies, days after Moscow threatened to cut Ukraine off from the sea. Belarus has freed 123 prisoners, including Nobel Peace Prize winner Alice Bialyatsky and leading opposition figure Maria Kolesnikova, in exchange for sanctions relief from the United States. U.S. Special Envoy for Belarus, John Coyle, announced the lifting of sanctions on potash on Saturday after 2 days of talks with Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko in Minsk. Cole said that around 1,000 remaining political prisoners in Belarus could be released, hopefully in one big group, in the coming months. In return, the US agreed to lift sanctions on Belarusian potash. Potash is a key component in fertilizers, and the former Soviet state is a leading global producer. The prisoner release was by far the biggest by Lukashenko since Trump's administration opened talks this year with Lukashenko, a close ally of Russian President Vladimir Putin. Separately, Ukraine's Prisoner of War Coordination Center said it had received 114 prisoners released by Belarus, including Ukrainian citizens accused of working for Ukrainian intelligence and Belarusian political prisoners. The center's statement said the released captives would receive medical attention, adding that the Belarusian citizens who so wished would subsequently be transported to Poland or Lithuania. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said 5 Ukrainian citizens were among those freed. The US government carried out seizure of the MT Skipper off the coast of Venezuela this week, just as a judge-signed warrant was set to expire, according to the document, which was unsealed on Friday. The warrant, signed by US magistrate judge on 26th of November, gave the Trump administration authority to seize the vessel until December 10. The skipper left Venezuela's main oil port of Jose after loading some 1.8 million barrels of Venezuela's Mary heavy crude. This week's seizure of the vessel was the latest escalation in growing tensions between Washington and Caracas. In recent months, the U.S. had carried out several strikes against suspected drug vessels in the region. President Donald Trump has repeatedly floated the possibility of a U.S. military intervention in Venezuela as the U.S. continues to build up its military forces in and around the southern Caribbean. U.S. military aircraft and vessels, helicopter, were observed operating in and around southern Puerto Rico. 2 U.S. Navy San Antonio-class amphibious transport dock ships were also seen offshore at Puerto Las America. The activity comes amid heightened U.S. military operations in the Caribbean. In recent months, President Donald Trump has intensified pressure on Venezuela, overseeing a significant military buildup in the region. Hundreds of government supporters protested in Caracas against the U.S. seizure of an oil tanker in Caribbean waters. The protest brought together residents and officials, including the mayor of Caracas, who accused the U.S. government of seeking to take over Venezuela's resources. And still to come on DD India News Hour. Hong Kong's High Court will hand down a verdict against Jimmy Lai next week. A United Airlines Boeing 777 bound for Tokyo turns back to Washington's Dulles International Airport.
Green technology can really help protect our planet if it doesn't harm our communities in the process.
The solar panels of all the 5 sets cumulative is around 80 kilowatts. So per year there is a saving of around 1 lakh units.
As long as you have high concentrations versus low, then you can sort of harvest energy this way.
Each village has its own unique problems. We need to develop a scientifically sound yet simple model that local people can understand and implement.
Work outdoors where environmental conditions constantly change. Some weeds are larger, some smaller, with different leaf shapes. With AI, many of them can be learned and controlled much more easily. That's why AI is a small revolution in this field.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I am Siddharth Bharadwaj. Thailand announced a curfew in its southeastern Trat province on Sunday as fighting with Cambodia spread to coastal areas of a disputed border region 2 days after US President Donald Trump said the sides had agreed to stop. Both Thailand and Cambodia have resorted to arms several times this year since a Cambodian soldier was killed in a May skirmish. Thailand and Cambodia have exchanged heavy weapons fired at multiple points along their 817-kilometer border since Monday in some of the most intense fighting since a 5-day clash in July that ended with Trump and Malaysian mediation. The Israeli military confirmed that its forces killed a senior Hamas leader in a strike in Gaza. In fact, in the Gaza Strip on Saturday, the Israel Defense Forces and the Shin Bet Security Agency said in a joint statement that Ra'ad Saad, head of the weapons production headquarters in Hamas's military wing, was killed. The Israeli military claimed that Saad was directly responsible for violations of the ceasefire agreement by Hamas in recent months, accusing him of leading the continued production of weapons during the ceasefire. Israeli media reported that Saad was described as one of the planners of the October 7, 2023 attack and one of the last remaining senior leaders in Gaza. Meanwhile, Hamas's Gaza chief Khalil al-Hayya confirmed on Sunday the killing of the group's senior commander in an Israeli strike a day earlier, one of the highest profile assassinations of a senior Hamas figure since a Gaza ceasefire deal came into effect in October. A United Airlines Boeing 777 bound for Tokyo had to turn back to Washington's Dulles International Airport on Saturday after an engine failed during takeoff, igniting a brush fire near the runway. The officials said that no injuries were reported among the 275 passengers and 15 crew members aboard the wide-body jet, which had to make an emergency landing. As per reports, the engine failed as the 777-200ER departed for Tokyo's Haneda Airport at around 17:20 GMT on Saturday. Transportation Secretary said on X that a piece of the engine cover separated and caught fire, sparking a brush fire on the ground. The US Federal Aviation Administration said it would investigate the incident. Campaigning kicked off Saturday in the Central African Republic, with voters set to cast their ballots in a quadruple whammy of elections on December 28. Besides national, regional and municipal lawmakers, Central Africans are set to pick their president, with Faustin Archange Touadera in pole position out of a 7-strong field to seek a third term. Thousands of supporters packed into a 20,000-seater stadium in the capital Bangui to listen to Touadera. Both of Touadera's top critics on the ballot paper, ex-Prime Minister Henry Marie Dondra and the main opposition leader Aniche Georges Dologele, had feared they would be barred from the election over nationality requirements. Touring the capital's districts alongside a travelling convoy, Dologele warned that the upcoming vote represents a choice for national survival. All right, news coming from Chile now. Chileans will vote in a runoff presidential election on Sunday that is expected to result in the South American country's sharpest rightward shift since the end of military dictatorship in 1990. Nearly 15.6 million registered voters are set to cast ballots. Polls will close at 6 p.m. local time, that is 2100 GMT, with initial results expected soon after. The runoff pits Jose Antonio Cast from the far-right Republican Party that he founded against Janet Yara, the incumbent leftist government's coalition candidate from the Communist Party. While Yara won November's first round with 26.85% of the vote, Cast beat out an array of right-wing candidates to finish second with 23.92%. This is the first presidential election under a mandatory voting provision with automatic registration for those older than 18 and fines levied on anyone who doesn't vote. Hong Kong's High Court will hand down a verdict against Jimmy Lai next Monday in a landmark national security trial that has drawn international scrutiny. Lai has pleaded not guilty to 2 charges of conspiracy to collude with foreign forces and a charge of conspiracy to publish seditious material in a case where he faces life imprisonment if convicted. Lai stands accused of using the Apple Daily as a platform to conspire with 6 former executives and others to produce seditious publications between April 2019 and June 2021 and collude with foreign forces between July 2020 and June 2021. India's ambassador to the US, Vinay Mohan Kwatra, has held, meetings with senior democratic lawmakers discussing cooperation in emerging technologies, defense and trade as a part of efforts to further strengthen bilateral ties. The envoy said he looked forward to continued collaboration on issues of mutual interest. In another meeting on Friday, Kwatra met Congresswoman Yvette Clarke, chair of the House Black Caucus, and described her as a steadfast supporter of strong India-US relations. He said the discussions with Clarke focused on advancing India-US collaboration in the AI space, including data privacy and data security. Sri Lanka's parliament will interrupt its recess to fast-track financial aid needed for rebuilding after Cyclone Ditwa, which killed nearly 650 people. President Anura Kumara Dissanayake has said last week that the island nation would need at least $1.66 billion in 2026, in addition to the $166 million he said the government would spend this year to rebuild and recover. Parliament Speaker on Sunday issued a notice for an urgent meeting of the legislature, which had gone into recess after approving the 2026 budget earlier this month and was not scheduled to meet again until January 6th. In a significant development from Canada, the country's parliament has taken a crucial step to correct a long-standing cultural misunderstanding. Canada's House of Commons Justice Committee has amended the proposed Combating Hate Act Bill C9, removing the word swastika and replacing it with the historically accurate term Nazi Hakenkreuz. Community leaders have welcomed the amendment as a landmark decision protecting religious identity while continuing to combat hate. Our correspondent Tarun Paul Singh reports from Canada.
Concern has been the usage of the word swastika in hate references and its association with Nazi in this bill. Swastika, as you know, is a Sanskrit word, and its meaning is prosperity and well-being of all. The word is used extensively in Jain, Hindu and Buddhist religious texts, prayers and rituals. Usage of swastika word in hate references deprives Jain, Hindu and Buddhist Canadians their religious rights to use the word in their prayers.
The vote on 9 December 2025 followed months of testimony and petitioning by more than 100 Hindus, Jain and Buddhist organizations. The Justice Committee originally considered a clause banning display of the Nazi Hakenkreuz, also known as Nazi swastika. Community leaders argued that this wording equated their sacred swastika, a symbol of well-being and peace, with Hitler's hate emblem. The community unanimously agreed to remove any reference to the swastika.
The Nazi Hakenkreuz, which is the symbol that used by the Nazis without using the word swastika in the English version of the bill. And so my amendment, all it does is remove the word swastika from the English version of the bill. And I hope that this is something that we can all agree on given the community's representations. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Swastika word is very auspicious, is very sacred to Jain, Hindus, Buddhists and several Dharmic communities. All these groups with their allied partners advocated with the Justice Committee and several lawmakers to remove swastika word from this bill.
Advocacy groups like the Hindu Canada Foundation and the Coalition of Hindus of North America launched campaigns that generated nearly 9,000 emails to MPs and senators. Organizations said that the coordinating community testimonies, policy briefs and grassroots outreach was key to success.
Whoever is, made this policy, they did not take care of this into their account. So we had, I would say, whoever we spoke in our capacity on the policy making, different MPs, everybody understood the concern, everybody understood that these two symbols are very, very separate and they should not be put together. That is why when the bill amendment was passed on 9th of December, you see it was passed unanimously.
Bill C9, still moving through Parliament, aims to modernize Canada's hate crime framework. It creates offenses for intimidating people at places of worship or community centers, makes hate-motivated crime a distinct offense, and bans the willful display of symbols like the Nazi Heckenkreuz and SS bowls when used to promote hatred. The amendment on the swastika sharpens the bill focus without weakening its prohibition of Nazi symbols.
This is a moment of celebration for all the Canadian, Jain, Hindus and Buddhists and all communities to see that now the swastika word has been removed from hate reference. At the same time, there's a lot of advocacy work ahead of us to remove swastika from hate references in media and in academia.
Hinduphobia bill, which is passed in Mississauga by Deepika Damrela, who brought this forward, and then this bill was also passed unanimously, because everybody understands this unanimous decision when comes, that means there is something on the surface, right? So that is where these all politicians came together and they said this is a real problem which we need to address. In any society, everybody has a right to live fearlessly, right? They should not be called out because what they believe in, what is their faith.
The community living here in Canada hailed as a landmark victory by Canada's Dharmic communities and their allies. More than 100 organizations from the Hindu Federation to Buddhist temple coalitions coordinated petitions, briefing and interfaith dialogues. While the battle over other parts of Bill C-9 continues, this amendment sets a vital precedent given the community's hope that the legislation can be inclusive and accurate. The community now turns its attention to educating Canadians about the swastika's spiritual meaning.
Finally, the Justice Committee saw light of the day and they have finally removed the reference of swastika from that Bill C-9. And I want to thank all those organizations which came together, which put their advocacy efforts in strength. And that is why this result has been made possible.
Swastika is really important. When I was born or when I grew up in India, in each and every occasion or every festival, my mother used to draw it. So that is where I learned a lot about our religion, our Hinduism, why it is important, and this has a great significance. Whenever we start any new festivities there or any new thing which we are going to begin, we used to draw it. We used to draw it at our homes, we used to draw it at our vehicles, everything. So I feel this is really important. And my family, like my kid, she's born here. So, and these are the only ways how we can, tell her that why Hinduism important, why it is important to being our roots, being connected to our culture, to our society, to our Hinduism.
From Canada, this is Tarun Paul Singh.
Let's take a look at other stories making news around the world now. Annual Havana Skate Marathon kicked off along the city's iconic Malecon waterfront. The event drew competitors of all ages, racing past landmarks including the Capitol Building and Morro Castle. Organizers said the marathon is both sporting competition and a celebration, helping to grow interest in skating across Cuba, especially among children and young people. Bolivians and their pets took part in capital's Christmas parade, donning Christmas outfits. Residents and their pets walked in the streets to celebrate the festive season. Many wore matching outfits, underscoring their love for pets as family members. The city council also set up a vaccination point for those needing to have their pets vaccinated, as authorities required this for participation in the parade. And still to come on DD India News Hour. We'll tell you about how India-Jordan ties have flourished over the years as PM Modi is set to visit the West Asian nation. India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar met with his counterparts from Europe, the UK and Egypt in UAE. Stay with us to know more on this.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I am Siddharth Bharadwaj, and a quick recap of the headlines. Thailand declares curfew in coastal Trat province amid Cambodia border fighting. Shooting at Brown University in US during exams, 2 dead, 9 injured. Hunt for suspects still on. President Trump calls it a terrible thing. Israel forces eliminate Hamas leader and one of the architects of the October 7th massacre. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will begin a 4-day tour to Jordan, Ethiopia and Oman on Monday. The first leg takes him to Jordan from December 15 to 16 at the invitation of King Abdullah II. Marking 75 years of ties, the visit will review bilateral relations and regional issues, giving fresh momentum to India-Jordan partnership. DD India's Tapas Bhattacharya with this report.
In West Asia's complex geopolitical landscape, Jordan has emerged as a stable and trusted partner for India, anchored in shared commitments to peace and regional stability. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will undertake a 2-day bilateral visit to Jordan starting Monday at the invitation of King Abdullah bin Al Hussein. This marks the Prime Minister's full-fledged bilateral visit to the kingdom and coincides with 75 years of diplomatic relations between India and Jordan.
It's a truly historic and a landmark visit. This is the year when we are celebrating 75 years of establishment of diplomatic relationship between India and Jordan. And perhaps this is the most memorable occasion, and we couldn't have asked for more. We are all looking forward to his presence in our midst, the Indian community here, and His Majesty and the entire government and the leadership have been extremely positive and responsive to this memorable occasion, and we are all geared to ensure a very smooth, successful and productive visit.
During the visit, Prime Minister Modi will hold talks with King Abdullah II to review the full spectrum of bilateral ties and exchange views on key regional and global developments.
Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi will embark on a bilateral visit to the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan from December 15 to 16, 2025. This will be Prime Minister's first full-fledged bilateral visit to Jordan, which is coinciding with the 75th year of establishment of diplomatic relations between India and Jordan. Bilateral visit is taking place after an interval of 37 years. India and Jordan share warm and friendly relations marked by mutual trust and goodwill. The relationship spans across sectors including political, economic, defense and strong people-to-people ties.
India-Jordan economic relations have grown steadily over the years. India is now Jordan's third largest trading partner, with bilateral trade valued at nearly $2.8 billion. Jordan plays a vital role in India's food security, supplying critical fertilizers such as phosphates and potash for India's agricultural sector. Both countries are exploring new areas of collaboration, including green energy, water technology and food security. Tourism cooperation, along with education and digital innovation, is emerging as the next frontier as India and Jordan work towards a future driven by knowledge and innovation.
With shared values, growing economic ties and new areas of cooperation, India and Jordan are poised to take their partnership to the next level, turning 75 years of friendship into a future of deeper regional cooperation and mutual growth. With Camperson Ashish, this is Tapas Bhattacharya for DD India from Jordan.
Jordan's geography gives it strategic weight and for India, real opportunity. At the crossroads of West Asia, Jordan is emerging as India's gateway to the region. With stability, connectivity and Aqaba's Red Sea access, ties are set to deepen as PM Modi's visit opens new economic pathways. DD India's Tapas Bhattacharya with this report.
Geography often shapes destiny, and in the case of India and Jordan, it shapes opportunity. Jordan's location at the crossroad of the Levant, the Red Sea, the Israel, Saudi Arabia and the Mediterranean gives it a unique position in West Asia. For India, this makes Jordan not just a bilateral partner, but a strategic gateway to the wider region. Aqaba, Jordan's Red Sea port area, offers India potential access to European and African markets through shorter, cost-effective route. As India expands its global manufacturing ambitions and seeks deeper commercial integration with West Asia, Jordan emerges as a natural logistic and trade hub. Beyond geography, Amman's political stability gives New Delhi a dependable platform for regional outreach. Jordan maintains diplomatic relations across the Arab world with Israel and Palestine and with key global players, making it an important bridge for India's balanced West Asia diplomacy. Both nations are already exploring enhanced connectivity, port cooperation, multimodal routes and integrated supply chain for fertilizers, pharmaceuticals, machinery and textiles. Jordan also offers opportunities for Indian investors in logistic parks, warehousing, renewable energy and industrial clusters. For Jordan, India's rising economic footprint and its role in world's fastest growing major economy represents a long-term commercial promise. Trade missions, business councils and tech delegations between the two countries have laid groundwork for a more ambitious economic partnership. With Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit, the spotlight turns to all new possibilities, a future where India and Jordan jointly shape connectivity, commerce and cooperation across West Asia. With Campus and Ashish, this is Taposh Bhattacharya for DD India from Jordan.
And for more on this, I've been joined by my colleague Tapas Bhattacharya from Jordan. Hi Tapas, how's it going in Jordan?
Well, so far so good, Shriddharth. Let me tell you, it's a beautiful sunny morning, and we hope that it stays like that when Prime Minister come on 15th and he gets to visit the iconic landmark of Petra city. That's placed on 16th. So we are keeping our fingers crossed for that. And it's a historic moment, not just for India, but for Jordan also. For both countries celebrating 75 years, as I mentioned in that story also. So huge moment for both countries to take the friendship to new height, to a new level on the 75th year of their friendship.
Definitely. Tapas, we saw your report also. It was a wonderful report. What can you tell us about the ties when it comes to India and Jordan? Tapas.
Okay, let me just start with the fact that, Siddharth, in ancient time, this particular area, this Jordan used to be on the Golden Route. In fact, it was part of the Silk Route also, but it was mainly the Golden Route that we used to call. And now, when in G20, if you remember, Prime Minister and India actually said that it's a time for India to have a new route. So Middle East, India, Middle East, Europe economic corridor that was, proposed. Jordan is also a key part of, a key member and key part of that. So connectivity is a major thing. We also believe that during this visit, several MOUs will be signed by both the countries, and it will usher in a wave of prosperity for both countries, especially in Jordan, which is currently having a lot of issues, especially when it comes to water. The water scarcity is there. There is a electric energy scarcity is there. So to mitigate those issues, we may have a lot of points that will emphasize the bonding between the two countries, especially in these areas as well.
Definitely, Tapas. And you were just mentioning that it's a historic moment as Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be visiting there. So how significant this visit is as far as the ties between both the countries are concerned? Because we know, the ties between both the countries goes out to political, economic, defense and people-to-people ties. So tell us about the significance of this visit by the Prime Minister.
There's a lot of going on. In fact, you imagine the fact that Prime Minister, when earlier in 2018, if he was en route transiting from here to the Middle East, and the Jordan's king, in fact, had gave him his chopper and the whole whole cavalcade that went with Prime Minister Modi at that time. In fact, from then onwards, when Jordan's president himself came to India, they worked on taking both the countries legacy forward. And we believe that when Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be coming here, they will be discussing a lot of things. As I mentioned earlier, energy will be a key issue. We may expect more audio-visual for both of us. You know, we are professional working in audio-visual medium. We may have a major announcement in that front also.
You're right.
We will also have a lot of talk on the people-to-people contact, and at the same time, as I mentioned, lot more emphasis will be giving Jordanians the center of excellence. There's already a center of excellence here to enhance that, to push that further. So we will expect all these things in the next couple of days as Prime Minister lands here on 15th. Remember, we were told that Prime Minister of Jordan himself will be coming to receive Prime Minister Modi at the airport. So that's a huge boost. It shows the kind of strength and the love that Jordan have for India and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Definitely. Tapas, we could see the bees are troubling you a lot. But anyway, can you just tell us that how crucial are the people-to-people ties between both the countries? You're there since 2-3 days now, I believe, and you must have had word with the people there. How excited is the diaspora, on Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit? What are they saying?
Oh, yeah, absolutely excited. They are looking forward to get a glimpse of Prime Minister Modi. It's 17,500 odd people staying here, and they will be, they are all geared up to give Prime Minister Modi a loud cheer and a huge welcome at the hotel when he will be arriving on 15th. They are all excited, and I had the opportunity to talk to them. In fact, I was checking with some of the other people in Jordanians also. They are very warm. And they said that they are looking forward to more close cooperation with India, and that's something that we've been talking about. In fact, if you take a close look at Jordan's geographical position, you will realize that if a great rapport with Jordan also helps India in having a major foothold in the West Asia geopolitical scenario. So that's another thing that India will be keen to take a close look at. But as I mentioned, Indian diaspora is absolutely crazy. They are absolutely gung-ho to welcome Prime Minister Narendra Modi when he visit Jordan, Amman, the capital of Jordan.
Definitely, Tapas, will keep taking updates from you once Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be arriving there in Jordan. Until the time, enjoy your stay in Jordan. Tapas. On his first bilateral visit to Jordan, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is expected to visit the historic city of Petra. Hidden inside the rocks, Petra is one of the 7 wonders of the world. DD India correspondent Vishal Baristo speaks exclusively to the Chief Commissioner of Petra.
During his 2-day visit to Jordan, Prime Minister Narendra Modi would be visiting the historic city of Petra. And I have with me the Commissioner of Tourism Petra, Dr. Fares Brizat. Let's talk to him and find out. Dr. Brizat, it's going to be a very important visit. So what kind of special arrangements have been made for this visit?
We look forward to receiving His Excellency, the Prime Minister of India. This is an expression of the strong relationships between the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan and the Republic of India. Both Petra and Taj Mahal in India are members of the new 7 wonders of the world, and we have an agreement with Taj Mahal, and we would like to extend collaboration between Jordan and India in the archaeological and tourism fields, and that would include not only signing these agreements but also expanding the joint marketing between India and Jordan. Jordan is a destination for Indian wedding.
You've just mentioned about the Taj Mahal. There are caves like Ajanta Ellora in India that that have similarity like the Petra. So any arrangement with on that part?
Yes, we'll be signing a new agreement with Ajanta Ellora. And that is going to be in terms of joint archaeological research and also for tourism purposes. We intend to expand that to include other similar areas where there are similarities between Petra and locations in India.
Now, when we talk about agreement, what kind of agreement is it beyond research?
Joint marketing is going to be included in that, and also exchange of knowledge. We will be receiving members of the Indian sites to Jordan, and also we will be sending some of our researchers and administrators to learn from one another.
Now, when we talk about the Prime Minister's upcoming visit, what kind of special arrangements have been made in Petra?
Well, we worked with all parties in Jordan and in India to make sure that his visit is smooth. And he would get a feel of Petra. There will be arrangements from the visitor center throughout the Sikh to the treasury of Petra and to the main trail of the archaeological park. And on that, he will be seeing many of the monuments that are globally formed.
How will this visit of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi give a new impetus to the already strong relations between India and Jordan, especially in terms of the cultural relations and also promotion of sites like Petra?
We have high expectations. We expect more Indians to come to Jordan as guests and tourists. And we are already working hard on the air connectivity.
So there you heard Dr. Brizat. The Prime Minister visit is going to be very, very important, and it would bring India and Jordan more closer. With cameraman Pramod in Amman, this is Vishal Baristo for DT India.
India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar met with his counterparts from Europe, the UK and Egypt on the sidelines of a high-level international summit in the United Arab Emirates on Saturday. In a social media post, Dr. Jaishankar shared the pictures of his meeting with the foreign ministers of Luxembourg, Poland and Latvia. Dr. Jaishankar also met with Egyptian Foreign Minister, Belgian counterpart Maxime Prevot and UK Deputy Prime Minister David Lammy on the sidelines of the summit. The minister was in the UAE capital Abu Dhabi to attend the three-day Sarbani Yas Forum 2025, which concluded on Sunday. Sarbani Yas Forum is an annual platform that brings together global leaders, ministers and experts to deliberate on regional and international issues. India observes a National Energy Conservation Day, an occasion to highlight the importance of energy efficiency and showcase the country's achievements in conserving energy, lowering emissions and helping the country achieve its climate action goals.
Under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, energy conservation has become a mass movement focused on reducing wastage, cutting costs and building a sustainable future. In 2025, under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi, India has achieved a major clean energy milestone. 5 years ahead of its 2030 target, over 50% of country's installed power capacity now comes from non-fossil fuel sources, including solar, wind, hydro and nuclear.
भारत ने तय किया था कि हम 2030 तक क्लीन एनर्जी भारत में 50% पहुंचा देंगे। मेरे देशवासियों को विकसित भारत बनाने का संकल्प को पूर्ण करने के लिए उनकी दौड़ देखिए। हमने जो लक्ष्य 2030 में तय किया था वो 50% क्लीन एनर्जी का लक्ष्य 2025 में हमने कर लिया।
One of the most successful initiatives in the Ujala scheme, over 36 crore LED bulbs have been distributed across the country, leading to annual energy savings of over 47 billion units and a reduction of nearly 38 million tons of carbon dioxide emissions every year, while saving households thousands of rupees on electricity bills. In the industrial sector, the Perform Achieve Trade scheme has driven energy savings by setting targets for energy-intensive sectors. This market-based mechanism has helped industries lower energy consumption while boosting competitiveness. Power sector efficiency has also improved under reforms such as Uday scheme. Aggregate technical and commercial losses have reduced in several states, easing the financial burden on distribution companies and improving power availability for consumers. Energy conservation efforts are complemented by India's clean energy push. India has crossed 180 gigawatt of installed renewable energy capacity, with solar power playing a major role, reducing dependence on fossil fuels and cutting long-term energy costs. Driving these initiatives is the Bureau of Energy Efficiency under the Ministry of Power, which promotes energy-efficient appliances, star labeling, and best practices across sectors. On National Energy Conservation Day, India's progress underscores a clear message. Energy efficiency is central to economic growth, environmental protection, and a secure energy future. Akshay Dongre, DD India.
Stanford University's global AI vibrancy tool ranked India as world's third most competitive country in artificial intelligence. India's rapidly growing tech ecosystem and large talent pools landed firmly in third place of the list. The latest ranking highlights how India's fast-growing tech ecosystem and strong talent base are helping the country play a key role in global AI race. This puts India ahead of several advanced economies including South Korea, the United Kingdom, Singapore, Japan, Canada, Germany and France. This ranking reflects not just R&D output but economic strength, policy engagement and public awareness of AI. You're watching DD India News. Our time now for some sports news. And football star Lionel Messi is in India for his Go to India tour. He is scheduled to attend a series of events on his second day on Sunday. On the second day, the global sports icon will attend an event at the iconic Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai and participate in a philanthropic fashion showcase alongside Uruguay football star Luis Suarez and Argentine teammate Rodrigo de Paul. The final leg of the tour takes him to Delhi, where he will attend a function at the Arun Jaitley Stadium, bringing an end to his three-day visit on Monday. Earlier, he kick-started his Go to India tour from Kolkata on Saturday. The 8 times Ballon d'Or award holder also virtually unveiled his 70-foot tall iron statue with Bollywood actor Shah Rukh Khan present at the event. After Kolkata, Messi along with Inter Miami teammates Luis Suarez and Rodrigo de Paul arrived in Hyderabad in evening. The trio spent an hour on the pitch at the Rajiv Gandhi International Stadium, delighting the crowd. Messi, Suarez and de Paul played football together and had a fun football kickabout with some of the younger players. All right, and DD India's Narayan Singh joins us on this. Hi Narayan, a very good afternoon to you. Messi buzz is all over the country. We know the global popularity of Lionel Messi, and since he's here in India now, so on that sports front, it's a festival here in India. Tell us more about his visit, Narayan.
Siddharth, we know that Lionel Messi, one of the greatest footballers of all time, is in India, as you mentioned. And we know that it's a big impact on the India's footballing landscape because to flourish a game, to flourish any sports, we need sporting heroes. And Lionel Messi is one of them. We know that if you take a look any game in India, how cricket rose in India, because from cricket we got heroes like Kapil Dev, Sunil Gavaskar, and from that point, India's cricket started growing. And same, why Argentina, the Brazilian teams, the European teams are doing well in football? Because they have the footballing heroes, and Messi is one of the best of them. And we know that what kind of impact he makes on the world football. So last time also he visited India 14 years back, but this time around when he is visiting India, the status has been changed. He is the GOAT, the greatest of all time. If you take a look, after that, he won the Copa America 2021, and next year in 2022, he won the most coveted trophy, the most prized trophy in the footballing world, that is FIFA World Cup. And again, he won Copa America. So this time around, the status is different, a legend, a greatest of all time. So definitely it will inspire the budding footballers of India. We know that the Indian football so far is not up to that level which we are expecting. But I think the arrival of Messi will definitely put our young generation of footballers to go ahead and just give their best and to learn the tricks and to learn the art of footballing skills from the Messi. So we can't express the stature of Messi in words, because we know that what kind of adversity he faced. When he was 10-year-old, it was found that he has the deficiency of growth hormones. And at that point in time, his boyhood club, New World Old Boys, said that they can't afford his treatment of the growth hormone. So at that point, he went to Spain and just took admission in the world's most, we can say, admired football academy, that is La Masia in the Barcelona. And Barcelona said that they will take care of his growth hormone. So he treated him, and that's why we saw that he is one of the best footballers in the world, because in football, you need some good height, you need some good body structure. So despite all these adversities, today he is the best footballer in the world, and we know that the way he dominated the Spanish football, the most number of Ballon d'Or, 8 Ballon d'Or awards, most number for a single club in the football. So we can say that Messi, it's going to have a big impact on India.
Definitely. One small thing I want to add here, Narayan, is that you remember the way he lifted the World Cup, and that celebration became a symbol of celebrations in other sports as well. You know, people these days, or captains from, in fact, from the world of cricket also, they lift the trophy in the same style. Thank you so much. We'll keep taking updates from you. Thank you, Narayan. After a thrilling start to the series in Cuttack and New Chandigarh, India and South Africa head into the third T20 international level at 1-1. The scenic Dharamshala will host Sunday's clash, with both teams eyeing a vital 2-1 lead in the series. India, who were clinical with the ball in the series opener, looked off colour in the second match. The biggest concern for the hosts was their batting, with skipper Suryakumar Yadav and vice-captain Shubman Gill struggling for form. With the ICC T20 World Cup 2026 in mind, India will be keen to get their combinations and momentum back on track. That's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Prasar Bharati from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.